To the ship show every single day. A new flavor of fuckery, cause everybody's such, you see, and they're dumber than a bag of clots. Monday, bullshit. Tuesday, bullshit. Wednesday, what the fuck? And then 4 more days of increasingly stupid, ridiculous, ignorant, boulder, dash, poppycock, bollocks, and fuckery.
Hello to everybody. Well, I'm getting started about an hour earlier than I normally do because for some reason it seemed like a good idea, but it probably wasn't. But hopefully I'll get through this a lot faster than I did yesterday because yesterday's was like a special edition because of the obvious shit going on. So, let's see. Hey. My bad. I invited somebody. Oh, hello, DJ B2. Mwah. How are you? So glad you could come. Oh, I invited a friend of mine. I realized I think he's live. Oops. I had not realized that. Anywho. Wow, goodness. Yesterday was quite a lot going on. Still is going on, but get my pillows all nice and comfy. All right, there. Oh, you dork. I'm glad you could come visit. How's that? I felt like I left that a bit short when I said that. I'm like, like I didn't mean it to sound like that. All right, let's jump right in. Let's share that screen. Oh, darn it. My TV likes to blink out on me. I think it's my HDMI cable. All right. Let's get through all this silliness and see what we got. All right. Let's start here because I try to have it in at least some quasi-decent order. Anyway, not yesterday's live stream, but the one before that. I was covering the fact that U.S. Marshals shot a dude outside Justice Sotomayor's house. And it's an 18-year-old, someone with the last name of Flowers. And I was like, maybe it was a robbery. And so hopefully no one thinks that it was like, that was like a profiling type thing. It's just that generally I don't imagine that 18-year-olds are trying to orchestrate political assassinations generally. You know, that's the reason. Turns out, I believe he was trying to carjack them, according to this. Now, we can't always be sure that that is true because the news will spin whichever way. But sometimes it is just what it is. And I really feel like if you're going to carjack, you really should be careful who you're doing it from. Like, if I was in Washington, D.C., I wouldn't be trying to carjack people. You have no idea who you'd be getting. You'd end up getting a Secret Service guy by accident, and they'd just feed you that gun. It'd suck. Like, but yeah, I kind of figured it might be like that happened. Just the 18-year-old just didn't know who he's fucking with, and he found out. Poor guy. He's alive though. I do believe he's alive. He just got injured. Yeah, it says here he was taken to the hospital for injuries. But yeah, but they're saying he targeted Sotomayor. Like, I don't think people just, attempt a carjacking on judges, like, I don't know, it just sounds kind of, Anywho. Let me scroll up a smidge. This was weird. The Heritage Foundation, because, like, I'm suspecting that the far right is trying to promote the Heritage Foundation to take over the Board of Education. It's what I think is happening. But yeah, it's weird. Heritage Foundation imagines Biden clinging to power with Barbara Streisand kidnap plot. That sounds so fucking weird. That headline sounded so weird. I was like, we gotta click on this. Like, what? Like, I mean, not to be rude, but I didn't even know she's still alive. Like, the right-wing Heritage Foundation, which has been instrumental in drafting the controversial Project 2025 plan, recently released a report that featured a number of highly outlandish scenarios by which President Biden will try to illegally cling to power should he lose 2024. Oh boy. I just assume it'd be a good old-fashioned, like, I don't know, national emergency or something. I don't think Barbara Streisand qualifies, but whatever. The Washington Post reports that Heritage War Games include a scenario in which Biden would try to use a national emergency to remain in power. Well, yeah. In this case, Barbara Streisand getting kidnapped by Islamic terrorist organization Hamas. What? This sounds like some shit from, like, South Park or Saturday Night Live. Like, what? In the war game, however, Biden's effort to use Barbara Streisand's kidnapping as justification for remaining president did not succeed because he was rescued the next day. He was? I think you mean she was, but whatever. These headlines are just... I miss when the Inquirer, like those little cheap rags at the checkout line that always have the outlandish headlines. That's where you'd find it. Like, now everything's a joke. God almighty. But this wasn't the only wild scenario contemplated by the think tank, whose president recently raised alarms when he said that President Trump and his involvement were leading to a second revolution that would be bloodless as long as the left didn't resist it. That sounds very creepy. When someone goes, it won't be violent as long as you don't resist. Like, it sounds creepy when you say it like that. These people are so fucking strange. I can't. Oh my gosh. Let me go over here and check everything real quick. Oh, hello, Miss Frosty Broccoli. How are you? I don't know. I mean, probably. I think they want to be. Like, I don't think they know that they are. Like, they might be, but I don't think they know they are. Or, like, people supporting it may not realize that they are. Because they think they're coming up with some kind of extreme whatever to respond to what they think the deep state is, when they don't realize the deep state has its hands in everything. And if you come up with something to try to fight it, it will find a way to spin it and use it as a tool. Like, that's a nice movement. It'd be a terrible shame if someone infiltrated that. Oh, Phyllis Shafley. We'll have to look into that. All right, hop over here. Now, just a little local silliness. All right, so for some reason, Oklahoma has designated the watermelon as its state vegetable. I was not aware that a watermelon was a vegetable, but, this is the same state that's going to try to push the Heritage Foundation and thinks the education's, like, we can make the education better. Like, you thought watermelon was a vegetable. Okay. That fruit or vegetable, the controversy surrounding watermelon is Oklahoma state vegetable. You know who Oklahoma state vegetable is? Our governor. That's who our fucking vegetable is. Fuck. Yeah, apparently it's a decades-long debate. Really? God. Why would this be allowed to be a decades-long debate? God almighty. It's like funny and makes me sad at the same time. In 2007, watermelon was adapted as a state vegetable after the decision was passed by the state legislature and signed by former Governor Brad Henry. In 2015, the decision faced backlash after Senator Nathan Dahm, a Republican from Broken Arrow, filed a bill to strip watermelon of its title as a state vegetable, claiming it was a fruit. Yes, he is correct. While watermelon still holds the title in 2024, does it deserve the honor? God. And they're reminding us that it's like watermelon is not even something that's indigenous to this area anyway. You would think somebody would at least pick something that was actually like naturally occurred here. God almighty. Anyway. Now, this guy, while I was looking at headlines and I saw Chip Roy, I'm like, oh, fucking goody, Chip Roy. Man, he just sounds like one of those like good old boys from like one of those old TV shows that turns out he's just like a really crooked backwoods politician, you know, that like in the South he would have been dressing like, I don't know, Colonel Sanders and shit like 100 years ago. Like he just gives that. I don't know. God almighty. All right, let's make this a little bigger so we can read the caption. Let me see if I can make the captions a little bit bigger for y'all. There we go. Hopefully that will be easy to read. And of course, I'm not going to play the sound because I don't want us to trouble. I feel like he didn't even really answer that question. I feel like he just kind of. I didn't even. I don't even know about this story. I didn't even click on that. This headline: Trump reinstated by Meta on Facebook, Instagram, and Instagram in an effort to allow political expression. I didn't care about it before. I feel like I kind of wonder what Facebook is up to a little bit. They don't give a shit about free speech, and we all know it. Meta, the parent company to Facebook and Instagram, announced that they will remove the long-standing restrictions placed on former President Trump's account. A Meta spokesman confirmed to Fox News that big tech giant will lift bans placed on Trump's Meta account that had been in place since 2021. Meta said its restrictions on Trump will be lifted in the coming weeks. Wow. I wonder who paid them to let that happen, because I mean I know they got paid to, you know, censor everybody. We found out in the last year or so that the government was in cahoots with the social media companies to try to suppress things that people were saying. The change of heart came after Meta reassessed their responsibility to allow political expression. They reassessed it. Took them that long to reassess it, really? We believe that the American people should be able to hear from the nominees for president on the same basis, the company announced. Yeah, I feel like it's something they should have figured out a long time ago. So I always know Meta's up to something, because they always are up to something. And this claims it was published 12 hours ago, which is weird because I actually got this a couple of days ago, but whatever. Israeli army video said to show drones, weapons found in Gaza at the that UN school that they basically bombed and tore up another one. I don't know how many they actually have down there. I think that maybe they went back and bombed that building again. But they're claiming they found a bunch of weapons and shit. And I'm just like, all right. But they've had so much control over that area. It's kind of silly they're claiming that the weapons belong to Hamas. Because think about this. So, if it really belonged to Hamas, why would they leave it where these guys are going to find it? Or where it's going to get bombed? That doesn't make any sense. That building's cleared. Why don't we make this a little bigger, see if we can, like, look at a few things. That just looks like an empty piece of... Actually, this is an empty... Yeah, this is just an empty pipe. This looks like some kind of used mortar shell of some kind, because there's no little thing. Like, this one's not used, but this one is, because it's missing that part right there. So that's just emptied anyway. Some empty bags. Ooh, empty bags. These look like... I don't know. I don't know what these look like. They look like little pieces of electronics of some kind. These little explosives right here, these actually look like food cans. Because if you look, there's like those little keys on them. Like back in the day, like when you got Spam cans or something like that, little canned meats, they would have like that little metal key that you would like connect to that little tab, and you would just turn the key around the body of the can until it opened. So that's what I'm seeing right there in this area, is just little cans with those little metal keys. So I'm assuming that's food, I guess. This looks like a police nightstick. Let's see, it looks like another empty bag. A roll of cord. Looks like maybe coax cable of some kind. I don't know. I don't know what this thing is. It's wrapped in plastic, but I don't know what it is. This right here, this looks like it's one of those things that you use to punch a hole in the ground so you can put down fence posts in the ground. That's what this looks like. That's the way this is shaped right here. So yeah, y'all got this shell right here. This one's emptied. These are like some sort of canister. I don't know for what. This looks like a manual for like an air fryer, to be honest. So a lot of it just seems to be a lot of plastic bags. It's like a little hole punch type thing for like putting fence posts in the ground. Some wires, because you always need wires. But yeah, these look like cans of like little food rations with a little metal key to open them. Like I said, somewhat large nightstick. I don't know. That doesn't look like the haul they're claiming it is. These are just like little metal canisters you put like stuff into to keep. Like, yeah, this one's like kind of, they're like little lids are kind of open. So I'm assuming there's nothing in there that dangerous if little lids are open. So the only thing I see here that it looks like the barrel of a rifle right here. A nightstick. These look like little flashbangs of some kind. And like some big artillery shell that like you'd have to drop it from an airplane. Like you can't just throw this thing. It's fucking heavy and huge. Look at that. That's too big for anybody on the ground to be able to use. They'd have to drop that from a plane. So I'm not impressed with their haul, honestly. Yeah. These look like, I don't know what these look like. They look like little connectors to like old amplifiers or something, like when you're trying to connect cable TVs in a bunch of houses or something. Like, I don't know. I mean, that's what they look like. This has got like a little picture or something on it. It has like a little left, right button. And this looks like some shit from like an old Radio Shack. Oh, and little Toshiba batteries right here. So, batteries. High batteries. But so we found a sensitive site. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I find that kind of weird. They had that huge shell. Like, there's nothing they could have done with that shell except drop it from an airplane. Oh, and they got some missile that's all torn up. Yeah, that looks like some fucked up, like, little airplane kit. Golly. But yeah, that's the scary haul they want you to see they got. Like, ooh, little jolly things. Yeah, and this thing is entirely too big. Nobody's going to be like just running around the streets throwing that at somebody. Like, that is entirely too big. Yeah, this looks like a bunch of junk. They look like they found old junk. Ooh, Lordy, I can't believe they even broadcast it like they did a good job. Golly. Ugh, that's cringe. Let me see this back up. I feel this country is getting dumbed down by it is. It absolutely is. Hello, Sashi. How are you, sugar? You heard about the now deleted Forbes article? He asked if Trump surviving the attempt would appeal to. I didn't know it got deleted. I don't know if him surviving the part that him surviving. I think he was implying that him getting shot. But like, I don't know. Like, the memes were pretty funny. I found one meme, and it said something like, oh, I can't remember how it's. I can't remember the exact wording, so I'm afraid it won't be as funny. But like the 50 Cent though, those 50 Cent memes with Trump on them, like 50 Cent had a concert last night, and he had Trump photoshopped on the background picture, like on his body from the that one of his album covers. It was fucking hilarious. It was great. Hello. How are you, Curtis? Did you message me back yet? Oh, you did. Okay. Uh, hold on. Oh, I got a message, but it was not from you. Okay. Right, as you should, because that guy is fucking hilarious. Oh my god. And he has been so funny, like when Diddy's been getting in trouble and everything. He's just been giving crap to everybody. It's so funny. I love it. I had no idea that we were going to discover how much of a comedian 50 Cent was the last year or so, but that's happening. All right. Anyway, so back on this. Rescued Israeli hostage says they threatened to kill him and film it. Okay. Well, let's see. So they spoke with Andre. We're just gonna call him Andre because I can't pronounce that. Kozlov? Yeah, I guess. Who was held hostage for 8 months by Hamas after being kidnapped at the Nova Music Festival on October the 7th. Kozlov spoke about the abuse he endured and the day he was rescued by the IDF, which is wild because, like, he says this, and when he got out, I don't know why, but he came out looking a little slow when he was rescued. Like, everybody else, like, I don't know. But this guy right here was telling everybody how, like, when his birthday came around, Hamas baked him a birthday cake. And so that's, and that guy's name is Almag Mir Jan, I guess. But yeah, these guys apparently had two different experiences. I mean, a lot of people have been getting shit though. Like, they almost have to say they were treated bad because there have been some people who have been like verbally and physically attacked over there when they said that Hamas didn't treat them too badly, and like their own people have turned against them. I have to actually look something up because I heard a rumor and I need to look to see. Let me see. Former Hamas hostage. I heard a rumor. I don't know if it's true. Because I had heard a rumor that one of the former hostages had been attacked by their own people. And so I need to see if that's actually like true. I don't see any sign of it. Maybe it's the wrong wording. All right. Well, I heard they have been catching shit and at least being kind of bullied if they said anything good about their captors. So yeah, this guy, he's like, oh, they threatened to kill me and film it. Yeah. And this guy's like, they baked me a birthday cake, and then someone tried to claim that It's like, well, they baked my birthday cake, but it was to taunt him, and it was to like to be condescending. Like what? That's stupid because they don't have access to much. They're always on the go. Supplies are limited. Sometimes electricity is limited. Facilities to be able to cook properly and eat are limited. That seems kind of weird. They go out of their way to bake him a birthday cake to be condescending. That's so fucking stupid. Because I don't know if it's in this article that it says it was done condescending, but that is the dumbest fucking thing I have ever heard. Let's see. Oh my god, right here. Jan says that as a cynical gesture, his captors made a cake for his birthday. That doesn't make any fucking sense because he said they made him a cake for his birthday when he first got released, and people gave him a lot of shit for saying that. So now it's being said it was a cynical gesture. Really? Because think about it. To have the place to cook and make sure the food is all right, you can cook it, you have all your ingredients, and you're telling me they went to all that trouble just to be cynical. That is the dumbest fucking thing I've ever heard. I just had to share that because what? God. And oddly enough, Matthew McConaughey calls out celebrities leaning into illiberal left. Speaking to the U.S. governors Friday, actor Matthew McConaughey says that his industry needs to watch its tongue when it comes to politics. A lot of us are guilty of the same thing we're talking about on the other side. A default opening and validation of the other side. So I don't know if I can play this without getting in trouble, but y'all can check it out. I saw this and I thought, I was interested in seeing it. The British Empire should be taught to school pupils like the bad Germans. The curriculum guideline state. Guidance created by school support organization, the Key, and offered to teachers across the country provides tips on how to make the history curriculum anti-racist. Teachers are advised to present the British Empire to secondary pupils, just like bad Germany, because again, I got to be careful what I say on here, as a power that commits atrocities. I mean, that's true. I mean, the British Empire has been quite terrible for a long time. I mean, there's a reason why there is probably 70 countries that have an Independence Day from those assholes. Anyway, people should also not be taught about balance of good and bad aspects of the empire. Well, I mean, I just figure to teach lessons about it as you go along. But the anti-racism curriculum review guidance was created by the Key, which began as a government pilot and now provides teaching resources to more than 100,000 school teachers. I don't really have a problem with it. As long as you're telling the truth about stuff. This is fucking awful. This is insane. This makes me afraid to go to doctors even more than normal. 2,400 patients are possibly exposed. Unbelievable. Oregon Health Services have issued a warning after more than 2,400 patients may have been exposed to infections by a physician who is said to have broken protocol. Well, like what protocol? Because it sounds like he broke protocol like 2,400 times. Because how did you infect 2,400 patients? The physician, whose identity has not been revealed, was formerly employed by the Oregon Anesthesiology Group. They may have exposed patients to a minimal risk of infection at Legacy Health and Providence Health and Services. The infections include hepatitis B, hepatitis C, and HIV. What? I'm assuming they must have protocol a few times because you usually deal with only one patient at a time. So if you infected 2,400 patients, I'm wondering how many times did you actually fuck up? It sounds like a lot. It sounds like it was over the course of at least, a few days, few weeks. Shit. We recently learned that Providence Comprehensive Infection Control practices may not have been followed by a physician during some of the procedures at Portland area hospitals. Well, I hope they beat the shit out of that guy. Robert Kennedy Jr. tells Democrats to rig him up as Biden's replacement. My number's on the internet. His number's on the internet, for real? Like what? That's crazy. As Democrats panic over Joe Biden's wobbling re-election bid, Robert Kennedy says that he is ready to bail out the party as a replacement for the 81-year-old. It would be better. It would be a better choice than Biden. I think they should take it because honestly, the Democrats don't have anything better to offer. They really don't. Even though Robert Kennedy is listed as an independent, this is honestly their best chance because, if I was a Democrat, I wouldn't be voting for Biden. Absolutely not. Kennedy would have a much better chance. I think they should take that offer. I really think they should because they suck. And then, conservatives ripped the RNC for giving Slutwalk organizer Amber Rose a speaking slot. This is actually fucking hilarious beyond words. Several conservative entities expressed outrage Friday after news broke that Amber Rose, the model and TV personality and ex-girlfriend of Kanye West, would be speaking at the Republican National Convention. Now, to be fair, I've never had this on my bingo card, but, whatever. Critics call the GOP for giving such a prominence to Rose, a rapper and model who also wrote How to Be a Bad Bitch, with one critic sharing a video of her discussing. Was she promoting it, or were they just talking about it? I feel like there's a difference. If someone asks you a question and y'all are talking about it, doesn't mean you're promoting it. Oh, I love this part. George W. Bush, Mitt Romney, Paul Ryan, Liz Cheney, Nikki Haley, and Ron DeSantis were not invited to speak at the Republican National Convention in Milwaukee. But no worries, Amber Rose will be giving a speech. Can you imagine how salty those guys and Nikki Haley have to be to know that they were not invited to the Republican National Convention, but Amber Rose was? I think those assholes up here need to all take several seats and reevaluate what they are. That they got shunned at the RNC, but Amber Rose was invited. That makes me laugh. It is so weird. And they said, wait till Trump finds out about this tweet, citing Rose's adamant opposition to him in 2016. Well, that's been a few years. People can change their mind. But I think that's fucking hilarious. And honestly, I see Nikki Haley as a very unhinged, like, angry bitch. I really do. Like, I feel like under that fake smile, like, little facade, she's an unhinged, crazy bitch. I really do. Like, I know this sounds crazy, but, like, wouldn't it be funny if Nikki Haley set up that shit yesterday to try to take out Trump? Because she really, really, really wanted to get nominated and to be president. Like, she was really, yeah, she was fighting tooth and nail until she knew she couldn't win, and then started kissing his ass. But you know what? I found a video where this guy is talking about the possibility that she could have, or that she would have something to gain from it at the very least. All right, pepper. But let's see if I'll have to unshare it just so I can, I guess, share it again. Let me see. Trying to find. No, that's not it. Oh, found it. All right. Did the GOP and Israel collide to take out Trump and install their ideal candidate? See, I don't know if they did or not. But I'm interested in what this guy's got to say about it, because he always comes up with crazier, like, theories than I do. Or there sometimes are just as crazy as mine. Anyway, let's see. Okay, I may have to actually play the sound, I guess.
And if Donald Trump goes down, the convention takes place regardless. Amidst all the chaos, amidst all of the outrage, what would happen almost immediately after Trump was assassinated if the perpetrator was successful today? And what would happen? Like I said, the GOP nominating convention is in 2 days. Donald Trump has delegates. You know who else has delegates? Nikki Haley. And if Donald Trump goes down, the convention takes place regardless. Amidst all the chaos, amidst all of the outrage, people are panicking. Maybe there's riots, maybe there's violence, and the country is in a state of emergency. Regardless, the convention is still held because there are ballot access deadlines. So maybe they postpone it, but they can't postpone it long. But the convention is in 2 days. The nominee is dead. Who do they put up in his place? Who do you think they put up? Who does the RNC choose? Who do the electors choose to replace Trump? Well, the obvious answers are the runners-up in the primary. Like, for example, Nikki Haley, who has delegates. She stayed in the race. Remember earlier this year? Do you remember earlier this year when I said after the New Hampshire primary, why is Nikki Haley staying in the race? It makes no sense. Why would she go on to Super Tuesday, although she has no chance of winning any contest outright or even coming close to winning another one after New Hampshire? Now, this is not a conspiracy theory. I'm merely stating the facts. Of course, I'm hinting at the idea that maybe she knew, and maybe this is one reason why, intentionally, unintentionally gathering delegates for some unforeseen event. But she's got the delegates, and this is why. So she's got delegates. DeSantis has delegates. So the most obvious selections after Trump dies are in this order: Nikki Haley, Ron DeSantis, or maybe it's some of the contenders for the vice presidential nominee. Of course, we know that Donald Trump had a short list of 3 or maybe 2 names. They are as follows: J.D. Vance, Marco Rubio, and Doug Burgum. Hypothetically, we don't know how it would play out because it didn't happen this way. But in an alternate timeline where Trump is now dead and the convention is 2 days from now, and they're looking for a nominee, there are 4 names that people would consider. 2 delegates, 2 that were considered for vice president: Nikki Haley, Ron DeSantis, J.D. Vance, and Marco Rubio. One of them would be the nominee. And not only would one of them be the nominee, but one of them would be the nominee in a race where the opponent is badly diminished, might be replaced at the last minute, and if he isn't, will almost certainly lose. And that's the situation if Trump had not died. But if Trump had died, not only would the nominee fill Trump's slot and face off with an opponent who is dying and may not even be on the ticket ultimately and will almost certainly lose, but whoever replaced Trump would also gain the advantage of the party and the nation rallying behind whoever his alternative would be. So what would happen at the convention is that the RNC would effectively be choosing the next president. They wouldn't have to win the primary. They wouldn't have to defeat Trump. They wouldn't have to really even beat the Democrats. It would be the clearest, cleanest selection of a president in the history of the United States. So whoever the GOP, not the voters, but whoever the RNC would select during a chaotic convention would effectively become the next president. And it would be between 4 options: Nikki Haley, Ron DeSantis, Rubio, or J.D. Vance. Now, when you put it that way, now we start to think about who would have the motivation. Well, just who would rather have Nikki Haley than Donald Trump? Take a wild guess. Who has a personal relationship with all of them? Miriam Adelson. And let's think about it even further. Why would it be necessary to have Nikki Haley rather than Trump in office right now? Isn't Trump a Zionist? Isn't that good enough? Well, what's going on in Israel right now? Israel recognizes that they probably will not be able to defeat Hamas anytime soon. Israel is going for broke in the Middle East. Netanyahu is going for broke. They don't need someone in the White House that said Hezbollah was smart. They don't need someone in the White House that said Netanyahu did not help us with Soleimani. They don't need someone in the White House that didn't talk about Israel in the first debate, which was a disaster for Biden. What would be best for Israel is someone like Nikki Haley, who has a relationship with Miriam Adelson. Nikki Haley, who said about Israel, all we need to say to them is, what do they want? When do they want it? No questions asked. That's the kind of president Netanyahu needs in the White House. Netanyahu, who will visit the United States in 2 weeks and address a joint session of Congress to demand that they pressure Biden to give more aid, to release the flow of precision munitions so they can bomb Hezbollah. So is it possible? Is it possible that now that the path has been cleared, Biden is no longer a threat? They don't even really need a strong contender from the Republican side. They just need anybody, really. Is it possible that they thought to discard Trump a few days before the convention so that they could install, in a completely undemocratic way amidst the chaos, their perfect ally that would not question them and would absolutely support what they want to do, their real ambition, going for broke, a once and for all victory against Iran, against Hezbollah, against the Houthis, against Hamas, and against the Palestinian Authority? I think that's a very real possibility.
Wow. See, I only saw part of that video. I didn't know how it was going to totally end up. That's wild as fuck. Hello, Ruben. How are you, sugar? Mwah. So yeah, that's he's got a wild idea there. I did not think about Nikki Haley being possibly behind it. I thought it would be dumb for the Democrats to try to do that to Trump, but I did see how it would be useful to Republicans because it would put them in a special status place, at least in the eyes of the public, that oh, we were attacked, our candidate was attacked, whether he like lived or died, it would still, win people a lot. And that close to his ear, I don't know. And I didn't know she was still kind of half-ass in it with delegates. I thought she'd quit because she said she was kind of supporting him. When I thought Nikki Haley said that she was supporting Trump being president. I assumed she had dropped out. I didn't realize she was still trying to be in it. That right there is what sold me on the idea that just maybe he might be onto something. Because that bitch is fucking nuts. I knew she was crazy since last October. Because she was like, kill them all. And that shit October 7th happened. Not even all right, we're going to try to investigate. We're going to try to find out what happened, which would be a sane response. She was like, kill them all. Wipe them all out. And I'm just like, yikes. Do not give this bitch the nuclear codes, please. Yikes. And honestly, I think there's a craziness in her eyes. If she wasn't behind this, like, I still think she's got the crazy in her. I really do. Yes, I think it's possible rhinos were behind this. Because think about this. If someone takes out Trump, we're going to assume it's the Democrats. That's a knee-jerk reaction. We're just automatically going to assume it's their fault. Because as much as the rhinos and Republicans in general fight each other, we would never have thought that one would do something like that to one of their own. You wouldn't think so. And that's, in a way, perfect. Because, automatically your opposition is going to take the blame for it. And so, yeah, I figured it might be someone in the Republican Party, but I didn't know who. I hadn't come up with a list of suspects, but apparently he has. And that would be so wild to see if she actually was behind it and see her dragged off in handcuffs. That bitch would be fucking finished. Everything he said was true, though. Her and DeSantis would have a lot to gain. And remember, for a bit there, like, there was some talk that if DeSantis didn't run for president, that he would at least have a decent chance of becoming vice president. Like, there had been, like, rumors circulating for a little bit that if, one didn't work out, the other might, And maybe he was told that he wasn't on that list. So, I mean, it could be either one of them technically with a motive, but something tells me she would be more likely. Yeah. Let's see. Do I have anything else to share with y'all? I think we cleared everything out. Well, I mean, we can see there's a couple more things because it actually got done a little faster than I was expecting. All right, let's oh, is it showing? All right. Entire screen. All right. Get over here. All right. People are weighing in with their opinions. Former Secret Service agent says that counter snipers at Trump's rally should have had a 360-degree coverage. I agree. Me and Curtis were talking about that, and I think Matt Cheatwood, who had been in the chat at that time, agreed that, yeah, they should have had plenty of coverage. I don't doubt that he saw him. I mean, he was aimed in that direction the whole time we were watching that counter sniper. But let's take a gander real quick. Interrogators will likely look into events plan site plan. A former Secret Service agent said that, well, that's pretty much what the headline said. I don't know how many they had, but they usually look for 360-degree coverage. So that's one thing that's going to be considered. And judging by the layout that we saw, I mean, he should have had that. The FBI identified the shooter as 20-year-old man from Bethel Park. I cannot pronounce his name. Kanglosi, I guess, who is an adjunct professor at John Jay School of Criminal Justice, said the primary question law enforcement would likely be asking is how the suspect could have made it to the top of the nearby building undetected. But he kind of wasn't undetected. He was kind of allowed to do that. And there's some thing going on 4chan or something, apparently, that someone is claiming to be the counter sniper in that picture we've seen and saying that he was told to stand down. And a lot of people are not believing it's him because, like, they're like, why would he go to 4chan? I don't have an answer for that question. But it does seem weird that he was not doing something, even though he had to do it in the site. Butler Township Sheriff Michael Sloop told the Washington Post that a local officer encountered the suspect before the shooting, but dropped to the ground because he did not have his weapon. Okay. For a large event where the president or former president is speaking, Secret Service on the scene would typically work with law enforcement to design a site plan with a mock-up of event spaces all around and all the surrounding buildings. That's all right. Hold up. This is super fucking weird. So the township sheriff told the Post that a local officer encountered the suspect before the shooting, but dropped to the ground because he didn't have his weapon. I feel like that's a strange bit of information. Like, how long before the shooting did this happen? Did he not have a cell phone on him that he could have called one of the other officers he knows? I swear to God, this is such a mess. This plan would be paramount for investigators in determining what possible failures occurred. Like, we can all tell you what failures occurred. All posts, meaning personnel, Secret Service, or uniformed police officers, were there where they were positioned, what their duties were to secure the post, what considerations were given to the outer perimeter, in this case, the other buildings, will be included in the site plan. Yeah, it's such a weird, the whole thing is so fucked up. It really is. Well, let's see. I figure I got everything out of my system. All right. I got to that a little faster than I actually expected to. Anyway, if y'all would like, I would absolutely love if you donate to my PayPal. And if not, that's all right too. I send y'all lots of hugs, and I am contemplating a live stream tomorrow. I don't know, maybe. But I definitely want to like go back and look at like some of the more stuff he's saying, because like I kind of fancy his idea a little bit. I really do. Like, that's kind of a wild idea. I didn't even think about that silly bitch being a possibility. But yeah, I mean, if you got to look at the motive and, see who has something to gain from it. But anyways, I shall talk to y'all later. Super glad you came by. Sorry. Hopefully my lungs will get better. Anyway, I have not much else to talk about, but I will play my little outro song. And I shall see y'all tomorrow the next day.
Welcome to the shit show. Every single day, a new flavor of fuckery. Cause everybody's such, you see, and they're dumber than a bag of clots. Monday, bullshit. Tuesday, bullshit. Wednesday, hey, what the fuck? And then 4 more days of increasingly stupid, ridiculous, ignorant, boulder, dash, poppycock, bollocks, and fuck.